Hey, Pastor Brian here with a Tuesday morning teaching tip with Bev Landers. Man, I'll never forget. My parents actually, they'd always remind me, which is why I'll never forget. I came home from school one day, and this is back in the day where you actually got spankings. Well, I remember the teachers telling us as a class, well, there's other ways your parents can discipline. And so I remember coming home from school one day and say, Mom and Dad, there's other ways that you can discipline me. You don't have to spank me. You can do other things that are more productive, things like time out, and I'll never forget my parents looked at me. Of course you would say that, Brian, because you want to get out of a discipline. The reality is there are so many different ways to bring about discipline, which is for the good of our kids, that we want to see Christ-centered character and attributes be developed in our kids. And that happens through discipline, but there's so many other ways to engage in discipline, and even beyond timeout. So maybe share a little bit about that.
Well, I want to give credit to this great resource, Nicole Schwartz. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She is the author of a website called www.imperfectfamilies.com. How's that for a great
so
title?
True.
That's what we all are. And she is a fabulous resource. I just want to really plug her website. She talks about there's 25 alternatives to timeouts, grounding, and taking things away. She starts out with a list of things we have to keep in mind. The first being discipline is used for teaching a child. Punishing is intended to cause the child to feel pain. Focus on finding ways to instruct your child. Stay away from techniques that resort to inflicting pain, humiliation, or shame. There doesn't always have to be a consequence. Children can learn from their mistakes without adding an additional punishment. You can also be a great influence by modeling appropriate ways to communicate, handle frustration, calm down, and work together. Next, each child is unique and each child will respond differently. You need to take the time to find the technique that works best for each of your children. They're each different. What works with one doesn't work with another. Factor in your child's age and development. Obviously, a 2-year-old will not learn from natural consequences, nor will a teen respond well to a timer. Some strategies, such as speaking calmly, apply to children at every age. Choose a few techniques that work well for you and ignore the rest. Don't feel pressured to use every technique every time. Some work great, some won't work at all. That's okay. Just keep striving towards teaching, not pain, and you're heading in the right direction. The most effective discipline is presented to your child ahead of time or after everyone is calm, rather than off the top of your head when you're in the heat of the moment, frustrated and stressed. And last, give it time. Changing patterns, both how you respond and how your child responds, will take time. Some children's behavior seems to get worse after you begin to implement some of these suggestions, but stick with it and show your child you're committed to doing things differently. It won't be long till you start to see some positive changes in their reactions too. So I encourage you to go to her site. I'll just share a couple of these with the encouragement that you'll check it out for yourself.
Yeah, and you actually, we'll post it below. So you see this video here. So below you'll see these 25 different things posted as well.
Yes, that sounds great, yes.
What are a few of those?
One is earn a privilege. It said, rather than taking items away from misbehavior, create a way for your child to earn access to a preferred activity by doing a less than a desired activity. For example, video games can be played after homework is completed. Bedtime stories are read after teeth are brushed. Brainstorm solutions. If something's not working for you, put it on the table and open up the conversation about it. Your child may come up with a solution you never considered. And lastly, last one I'll share is stop doing things for them. Rescuing is a common parenting technique that removes the responsibility from the child, undermines their independence, and decreases their ability to be creative with solutions. Your child is capable of more than you think. It's okay for them to struggle and even to fail sometimes.
So true. I know just for our family, we've had to rethink how we parent. I think that idea of being proactive, about talking about consequences before the event happens, because in the heat of the moment, we're upset and irrational. And as it was shared in the article, sitting down with your child and actually having a discussion about consequences actually is a good exercise, not just for you, but also for them.
Yes.
I've even found that the kids come up with even more firm
Yes.
and harsh
Yes.
consequences than
Yes.
we would.
Yes.
And the cool thing is that they're the ones that said it and spoke it. And so that way, all you have to do is say, hey, this is a consequence that you came up with, you know? And so again, it's to take that personal edge out of that. And I know I'm preaching to myself here, that personal edge in how we discipline, because our desire is really to bring about right character and right perspective in the lives of our kids. And I think at a time as this, you know, that we live in a culture where they really haven't had to deal with, you know, reaping what you've sown, that we need to teach our kids that there are consequences to decisions we make that will affect us, but they will not destroy us, that our God's greater. Amen?
Amen.
Amen.